6 p.m. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. I'm Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines at News at 6. Rajya Sabha adjourned for the day after the demise of Congress member Praveen Rashtrapal. Rashtrapal died in New Delhi today after suffering a massive heart attack. Enforcement Directorate asks Interpol to issue red corner notice to extradite businessman Vijay Mallya. Move comes after United Kingdom refuses his deportation. Harish Rawat takes over as Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, holds first cabinet meet, decides to expedite execution of earlier decisions. And WHO submits report on air pollution, claims it causes 7 million premature deaths every year. Over 80% people who live in cities worldwide breathe polluted air. Well, Rajya Sabha was adjourned for the day after the demise of sitting Congress member Praveen Rashtrapal. Rashtrapal died in New Delhi early on Thursday after suffering a massive heart attack. Here's more.
Rajya Sabha condoled the death of Congress member from Gujarat, Praveen Rashtrapal. Rashtrapal became member of Rajya Sabha in April 2006 and was re-elected in April 2012. He was also elected to the 13th Lok Sabha in October 1999. Rashtrapal retired as Assistant Commissioner of Income Tax and was associated with the trade union movement of income tax employees.
I refer with profound sorrow to the passing away this morning of Shri Praveen Rashtrapal, a sitting member of the House. Born in December 1939 in Gandhinagar district of Gujarat, Shri Rashtrapal was educated at the Siddharth College, Mumbai. Shri Rashtrapal represented the state of Gujarat in this House from April 2006 to April 2012 and again from April 2012 till his sad demise. In the passing away of Shri Praveen Rashtrapal, the country has lost a distinguished parliamentarian, a noted trade unionist, and a dedicated social worker. We deeply mourn the passing away of Shri Praveen Rashtrapal.
Members also stood in silence as mark of respect in the memory of the departed. Later, the House was adjourned till Friday. This is Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, the Enforcement Directorate today requested Interpol to issue a red corner notice to Vijay Mallya in connection with the money laundering case. The move comes a day after the United Kingdom refused to deport Mallya as per British laws, who is currently residing in the UK.
The Enforcement Directorate on Thursday asked Interpol to issue a red corner notice to extradite businessman Vijay Mallya. The move comes after the United Kingdom government denied his deportation under British laws. UK says it cannot deport Mallya because he came with a valid passport, but can consider if India seeks his extradition.
विजय माल्या भाग जाएंगे, ये ऐसी आशंका शायद थी भी नहीं, क्योंकि उसके इंडस्ट्रीज इत्यादि हैं यहाँ, और जो बैंक्स इसके लिए कार्रवाई कर रहे थे, सरकार नहीं बैंक्स कार्रवाई कर रही थी अपने राशि वसूलने के लिए, तो बैंक्स ने संभवतः जब केस वगैरह दाखिल किया, जैसे ही केस दाखिल किया उसके बाद ही माल्या भाग गए. तो ये मामला पहले बैंक्स और माल्या के बीच में था. सरकार तो बाद में आई जबकि मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग वगैरह का मामला सामने आया.
It's coming too late in the day. It should have been activated long back. Now that steps are being taken, I think his wealth across the world should be taken back and through the due process of diplomatic activities, and I think they have failed in UK, but I am sure they will be able to activate it across the globe and at least recover the money that he owes the banks and the employees of the Kingfisher Airlines.
Mallya and his firm Kingfisher Airlines owe over 9,000 crore rupees to at least 17 Indian banks. He flew to London on 2nd of March when the banks tried to recover money from him. The ED is also considering attaching domestic assets and shares worth about 9,000 crore rupees owned by Mallya. It's also looking at whether Mallya used part of a loan to buy properties abroad, which he has denied. A Mumbai court has also issued an arrest warrant, but so far Mallya has ignored all such orders to return and face investigations. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, reinstated as Uttarakhand Chief Minister, Harish Rawat today held the first meeting of his cabinet that decided to expedite the execution of decisions taken earlier. Rawat was yesterday restored as Chief Minister of Uttarakhand 46 days after he was ousted by the centre in a political battle that ended in a setback to Narendra Modi government. The cabinet meeting was held a day after President's rule was revoked in Uttarakhand. The cabinet meeting decided to expedite implementation of old decisions of the cabinet and government orders. Rawat also regretted the heavy loss suffered by the state due to the prolonged political uncertainty that ended only yesterday. He also promised to work hard to make up for the loss. Rawat said that the judiciary has restored the faith of the people in the democracy in Uttarakhand and pledged to start afresh, forgetting the bad patch to take the state forward.
प्रदेश की जनता से कहना चाहता हूं कि उनका सेवक उनके आशीर्वाद से हाजिर है और जो भी राज्य की भलाई के लिए गरीब गांव गधेरों की भलाई के लिए हो सकेगा, हरीश रावत और उनका मंत्रिमंडल समर्पित भाव से काम करेगा.
Well, joining me on the phone line right now is our correspondent Vishal Dahiya. Vishal, the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, Harish Rawat, applauded the courts and said that it was the victory for democracy finally. But what's on the agenda as far as the Chief Minister is concerned? What's it that he wants to achieve at the earliest?
Well, first things first, Frank, the Chief Minister along with the senior cabinet colleagues is right now at 10 Janpath meeting the Congress President Sonia Gandhi. Now, this will be the first such meeting after the political crisis engulfed the state of Uttarakhand around, a fortnight ago, more than that rather. As far as the agenda is concerned, then politically speaking, this will definitely be a sort of a booster for the Chief Minister Harish Rawat as well as for his party, Congress, given the fact that there is, less than an year left for the assembly polls to take place in the state of Uttarakhand. And if you look at the previous, election results as well, the Congress did manage to form government in Uttarakhand, but the BJP was also not, lagging behind by a huge margin. There were just few numbers which the Congress had more than the BJP, which enabled it to form the government. So this is something which Harish Rawat in the next few months would like to use to his particular advantage to ensure that this is translated into some sort of sympathy factor for him and should go against the opposition party. But then this is something which will take time. As of now, for Harish Rawat, first of all, after meeting the political high command of the Congress party, would be high on the agenda to ensure that all those who have supported him, let's not forget that there were two MLAs of the BSP plus some of them from another group, PDF, which includes an independent as well. So he will try his level best to ensure that all these legislators remain on his side and can avert any such crisis to happen in future.
All right, Vishal Dahiya, we'll add to that. Thank you so much for joining us there with all those details. Moving on now, 29 Indians, including 6 families from Kerala and 3 from Tamil Nadu, returned home after being evacuated from Libya. The rescued Indians landed at the Kochi International Airport on Thursday. Family members were present to receive them when they arrived in Kerala. Several of those evacuated were working in Zawiya Hospital in Libya's Sabratha city. Their families urged the Indian government to evacuate them after a nurse and her son from Kerala died in a shelling at their house in March this year. Libya has been torn apart among rival militias, tribes, governments and parliaments since the political turmoil that overthrew Muammar Gaddafi 5 years ago to build a power base backed by rebellions.
The situation is getting very worse, but some areas it was far better. How to explain? I can't explain. We struggled so much. That's why I can't explain.
Libya खराब है. अभी बहुत प्रॉब्लम है. अभी प्रॉब्लम मतलब क्या अभी अभी दो तरफ फैमिली है ना, फैमिली जो फाइटिंग है ज्यादा। ये बात में क्या है, गवर्नमेंट नहीं है अभी, 4 गवर्नमेंट है और कुर्सी के लिए लफड़ा चल रहे हो, कुर्सी के लिए। तो अभी जिसके पास ताकत ज्यादा है, बंदूक ज्यादा है, वो आगे जाएगा।
Let's now get you some related election news. Now, in an escalating war of words between the centre and the Kerala government, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj has hit out at Kerala Chief Minister Oommen Chandi. In a series of tweets today, Swaraj credited the centre for evacuating Indians, including Keralites, from the war-torn regions outside the country. Chandi had raised objections to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's speech in Kerala, where the Prime Minister had said that the centre had saved people and evacuated families from Libya.
It was thanks to the embassy's intervention that their salaries were paid and their exit visas were issued, and they were able to safely return to India today by commercial airlines. As External Affairs Minister had also tweeted, this is our pious duty towards our citizens.
Well, earlier in the day, Chandi also slammed Prime Minister Narendra Modi and urged him to correct his statement that the infant mortality rate among scheduled tribes in Kerala is worse than that of Somalia. At a press conference held in Kochi, the Chief Minister said that the Prime Minister's statement was inaccurate, but he has maintained silence so far.
അതെല്ലാം ഒരു നിമിഷം കൊണ്ട് രാജ്യത്തിന്റെ പ്രധാനമന്ത്രി തട്ടിത്തെറിപ്പിച്ചിരിക്കുകയാണ്. അത് തെറ്റാണ്, തെറ്റ് പറ്റിയതാണ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടും അതിനെ നിഷേധിക്കാനോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അത് തെറ്റായിട്ട് ഉദ്ധരിച്ചതാണ് എന്ന് പറയാനോ തയ്യാറാകാതെ അദ്ദേഹം പിന്മാറിയിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഇത് വളരെ ഗൗരവത്തോടു കൂടിയാണ് കേരള ഗവൺമെന്റ് കാണുന്നത്.
Well, joining me for a chat right now is our correspondent Akhilesh Suman from Kerala. Akhilesh, as far as Kerala is concerned, the focus now seems to have shifted from the Prime Minister's Somalia remark to what the centre has done for the Keralites in evacuating people in war-torn countries and bringing them back to Kerala.
Yeah, actually it is going side by side, because once Oommen Chandi said about his Somalia remark, it is also that Sitaram Yechuri is also telling once again that Human Development Index of Kerala is better than many of the other countries, and it is the best in India. So I think it is not only centered up to the UDF, even LDF is also reacting to this remark of Prime Minister, and people are saying that this is in a putting the Kerala state in a bad.
2 minutes be alive for coming to 4 days till the polls are over. But other than that, Kerala is also one of the states where most of the migrants go to the Gulf countries, and seeing the whole instability in the Gulf countries, it is true that centre has done
centre has done very well in that evacuating the people from the war-torn countries of the Gulf. Either it is Iran or it is Yemen or it is whoever is the Gulf country. So I think both centre and the state government are also trying, because whenever there was crisis, Oommen Chandi has returned to the centre, and he has even went to meet the Prime Minister, the External Affairs Minister. So from the beginning, Oommen Chandi was also showing that he is also very concerned about the people, Kerala people living in the Gulf. And there is a recent phenomena also in this state, while the poll-bound state, people are coming from the Gulf countries to vote, and I think that IUML is one of the constituents of UDF. They are also encouraging people from the Gulf countries to come and vote and then go back. And it is being told that this is a charter flight coming from Gulf countries to the Kochi airport and other airports of Kerala. So it is quite an interesting situation that right from Somalia remark to the Gulf country, international politics is one of the issues that has been kept alive in the poll-bound state too.
All right, Akhilesh Suman, we'll have to leave to that. Thank you so much for joining us there with those details from Kerala. Moving on now, the World Health Organization has warned against inaction on rising air pollution in cities across the world. It has estimated that pollution is claiming the lives of 7 million people every year. Here's a report.
Over 80% people who live in cities worldwide breathe polluted air, raising the risk of various life-threatening diseases. a WHO report has revealed. It further says that more than 7 million premature deaths occur every day due to air pollution. Among the common causes of air pollution are high numbers of cars, especially diesel-fueled vehicles, the heating and cooling systems of big buildings, waste management, agriculture, and the use of coal or diesel generators for power.
On average, the situation has deteriorated and increased the levels of air pollution by 8%. So the situation is getting worse. And we know that 80% of the urban population living in cities where we collect data on air pollution are exposed to very high levels of air pollution and therefore resulting on diseases.
WHO has stressed that public awareness has to be raised about the issue. It has also insisted that countries should move on monitoring air quality.
We have a terrible figure. WHO has estimated that 7 million deaths occur annually. Premature deaths are occurring every year that are caused by exposure to air pollution, and this is obviously a major public health problem, and that's why we need to raise awareness, we need to increase and the measures that are taken, and countries need to move on monitoring air quality.
A previous study by WHO has found that the most polluted cities are still in India and China. The dirtiest air was recorded at Zabul in Iran that suffers from months of dust storms in summer. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Let's now get you a roundup of some national news in nationwide. The Supreme Court got 4 new judges today after President Pranab Mukherjee signed their appointment orders last night. Justice A.M. Khanvilkar of Madhya Pradesh High Court, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud of Allahabad High Court, Justice Ashok Bhushan of Kerala High Court, and senior lawyer and former Additional Solicitor General L. Nageshwar Rao are likely to take oath on Friday as the new Supreme Court judges. A UN report today said that the Indian economy is slowly gaining momentum and is projected to grow by 7.3% this year. The World Economic Situation and Prospect report also said India is expected to achieve a 7.5% GDP growth in 2017, and the economic prospects of the South Asian region will be on the growth trajectory of India and Iran. In data released by the World Health Organization, Delhi is no more the most polluted city in the world. The data clocks the amount of particulate matter under 2.5 micrograms found in every cubic meter of air. The data also says India is still home to 4 of the 5 worst cities. It's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Translation means converting knowledge into products useful for improving the quality of life. So we need to apply that knowledge to find solutions, and that is what we are trying to do in this institute. Somebody who has understanding of biology, somebody who has understanding of medicine, somebody who has understanding of engineering. If a team is put together, can we then develop novel diagnostics?
Watch Eureka with Dr. Sudhanshu Brati, Dean at Translational Health Science and Technology Institute, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha Television. Well, Brazil's first female president, Dilma Rousseff, will face trial after the Senate voted to impeach and suspend her. She is accused of illegally manipulating finances to hide a growing public deficit ahead of her re-election in 2014, which she denies. Vice President Michel Temer will assume the presidency till Rousseff's trial goes on. Here's more.
After a marathon all-night session that lasted over 20 hours, Brazil's senators voted to carry on impeachment proceedings against President Dilma Rousseff. 55 of the 81 members of the Brazil's upper house voted in favor of the motion, while 22 voted against. The results mean that Rousseff will now face an impeachment trial that may last up to 180 days. After the investigation, she will have to present her case. After that, a special Senate committee would vote on a final determination and then present it for a vote in the full Senate. Rousseff's suspension brings an end to 13 years of rule of a workers' party. Rousseff called the steps to remove her as a coup. She was first sworn into office in January 2011 and started a second term in 2015.
Que emoção! Valeu muito a pena, nossa força. Nós somos primeiros. Nós somos muito. Eu morri, mas eu estou aqui lutando pela minha juventude, pelo meu futuro, o futuro dos meus filhos.
The past few months saw a roller coaster for the embattled Premier Rousseff, battling against her impeachment, including procedural and legal appeals to annul the vote heard. During the Senate vote, there were protests in the capital Brasilia and other cities for and against the proceedings. Now, Vice President Michel Temer will assume the presidency. This despite 70% of Brazilians supporting holding new elections. Temer's popularity ratings are almost as low as those of the outgoing president.
Acho que o impeachment que está sendo votado hoje no Senado não resolverá nossos problemas, porque apesar de eu não ser a favor do governo da Dilma, a troca de presidente não resolveria nossos problemas, até o final porque ela foi votada democraticamente por...
After Rousseff came to power in 2010, she initially enjoyed some of the highest ratings of any leader in the world. But her popularity slumped with Brazil's economy now in its deepest recession for decades and a massive corruption scandal at the state-run oil firm. The political upheaval comes at a time when Olympic spotlight is about to shine on Brazil and the Zika virus health crisis far from over. Indeed, these are not good times for the country. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Donald Trump today softened his stance on the most controversial proposal of the 2016 election campaign, saying that his call to ban Muslims from entering the US was just a suggestion. The real estate mogul, who won more than 60% of the Republican vote in New York, stated that the ban was just a suggestion. In a separate television interview with Fox News, he said the ban was only supposed to be temporary. Trump called for the ban on Muslims last November, shortly after terrorist attacks killed 130 people in Paris. Despite international outrage, he refused to apologize or retract his comments until this week. Trump's softer tone against Muslims was adopted during an interview to discuss the immigration committee he was forming with the controversial and right-wing former mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani. Well, let's now get you a roundup of the other international news and global buzz. Two pieces of aircraft debris that were found on beaches in Mauritius and South Africa almost certainly came from the Malaysian Airlines flight MH370, according to the Malaysian and Australian officials. 5 pieces of debris were confirmed as definitely or probably from the plane. The aircraft mysteriously disappeared more than 2 years ago with 239 people on board and is presumed to have crashed into the sea. British Prime Minister David Cameron opened the anti-corruption summit in London with US Secretary of State John Kerry and Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari. Foreign firms that own property in the UK will have to declare their assets publicly in a bid to stamp out money laundering, and the companies will have to be on a new register if they hold property or want to compete for government contracts. Iran has failed to reach any agreement with Saudi Arabia on arrangements for its pilgrims to join the annual Hajj in September following the severing of ties. An Iranian delegation held 4 days of talks in Saudi Arabia last month aimed at thrashing out a deal but couldn't solve the issue. Shia Iran and Sunni Saudi Arabia are at odds over a raft of regional issues, notably the conflicts in Syria and Yemen, in which they support opposing sides. A 5.8 magnitude earthquake shook Taiwan on Thursday morning. The quake, which struck in the sea near Yilan County in northeastern Taiwan, had 17.5 kilometer depth. The quake was followed by 4 smaller tremors, including a 5.5 magnitude one. No major casualties or damage have been reported so far. Moving on to some sports-related news now. Shashank Manohar was today elected unopposed as ICC's first independent chairman 2 days after he stepped down from the post of BCCI president. The 58-year-old was elected to the post after the ICC full council's approval of constitutional amendments. Manohar was the only candidate for the position and will commence his 2-year term with immediate effect. A prominent lawyer from Nagpur, Manohar served his first stint as the BCCI president from 2008 to 2011. He was re-elected for a second term after Jagan Mohan Dalmia died in September last year. The election of an independent chairman will see the end of electing an ICC president from 2016 after ICC Full Council unanimously approved various amendments to the ICC's constitution. That's it on the news at 6. Have a good evening.